Hi guys, and welcome back to the I Am Personal Training YouTube channel, and we're back with another sumo deadlift session. So this time we're doing 195 kilos and we're aiming for 5 sets of 5. So this is the first set. We're just getting ourselves nice and set up, and as you can see there, so what I notice here is that my hips come up slightly. So what I should do in my next session is just set my hips a little bit higher, because what's happening here is as I start to pull, my body's putting itself into the position it wants to be in. So if I have my hips that little bit higher, it means I'll be able to produce force better from that position, rather than having to raise my hips as I start to pull the bar and not necessarily being in the best position for the pull. So that's definitely something for me to work on, is a slightly higher hip height. Apart from that, everything else felt pretty good. As you can see, just driving and getting the last one. Still a bit slow in the lockout, so there's still some work to do there. I still think I need to snap my knees back a little bit quicker as well. But this is the first kind of time we're getting on to like really heavy weights when it comes to sets. And as you can see, we're coming on to set number 3. This was now. Sorry for the dreadful camera angles, but you can see we're getting ourselves nice and set. Getting my hand set now. I noticed something else here. So what I do here is I get in a nice position, and then as soon as I start to pull, I bring my knees back in. So I think something else I need to focus on is pushing my hips through the movement and into the bar and keeping that nice strong position. Whereas here, my legs are coming in really quickly, so I'm not in quite as a strong position. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on that. If you do, please leave them in the comments. I'm always open for any tips and advice anybody has. But yeah, I think that's something I need to work on, is just pushing my hips through a little bit more and not bringing my knees inside as much. Now this video I'm editing after I've already done my next session, so it's something I'm going to have to work, next deadlift session that is, on something I'm going to have to work on in the session after that. But it's interesting watching it back, and I really feel like my knees do clip in quite a lot, so definitely something to work on there. We're then coming on to the final set. As you can see, everything's been a bit slow so far, but we have managed to do the set. Some of them maybe had a little bit of hitching in, so possibly wouldn't have been given in the powerlifting competition. But again, plenty of stuff to work on. And then looking at this one as well, I don't know if it's the angle of the video, we'll see my feet come forward. I didn't notice this at the time, but my legs are in very different positions on the bar, so I need to make sure that my legs are even on the bar. If you can see, this left leg, also right leg, is getting split in half by the ring on the bar, whereas the other one, it's more onto the right hand side. So yeah, again, something to work on. As you can see there, again, my knees pop inwards, which is something that I do need to change. But it's good to notice these things. This is why it's really important to film your sets, especially if you haven't got somebody training with you all the time, because you notice these things and then you can start to work on them and implement changes. You can see there that especially that left knee there, it just comes inwards. So yeah, something definitely to work on there. And like I said, I am quite new to sumo. This is still getting heavy. It's definitely going to take some work. But there you can see it again, I'm almost leaning to the side, which is something I've not noticed before. So definitely a work on there. But like I was just saying, yeah, new to sumo, so it's definitely going to take some time to get everything perfect. I've only been pulling sumo for about 6 months, sorry. So yeah, definitely a nice work on there. We're then coming back onto our high bar squats on to the foam. So we're just getting ourselves nice and set up there. We've got just our belt on this time. Didn't feel like we needed the knee sleeves like we did in the first set. Knees are just feeling a bit more secure than they were there. I think using the squat bar probably does help with that as well. And as you can see, we're just coming down. So the focus of this is, like I've said before, is to build hip flexor strength. So because you're pushing off from a non-solid base, basically, you really have to engage your hip flexors to create that power as you're coming up off the box. I found it's really good, definitely more difficult than doing just a normal movement, and going back to high bar after doing low bar does feel really disgusting. Now, if you watched the squat video from this week's training, you'll know that I had to do the good mornings on this day. So realistically, I'd prefer not to do the good mornings on this day, just because obviously it's very similar to deadlift movement. My quads, my hamstrings and glutes were feeling very fatigued anyway, so I just don't feel like I get the best out of it, to be honest with you. But it doesn't matter. What it does mean as well is that we're doing everything basically in this session was bar loaded, so we're spine loaded, because next we're going to do the split squats with the safety bar as well, which is obviously something that I'd just like to avoid, but sometimes you can't help these things and you've just got to get on with it. So now we do come to the split squats. I've really enjoyed doing these. This sissy squat stand has been perfect for doing them with. Like I've said, I put my hands on the rig just to make sure that I can stay balanced, and yeah, moving really nicely. We've got 85 kilos on the bar, I do believe. Yeah, 85 kilos on the bar, And again, just 3 sets of 10, feeling really nice. Got my knee sleeves on for this, just for that little bit extra support in my knees, because I just don't want to put too much work through my knees. And I don't really think knee sleeves necessarily do as much as some people think, but it's a placebo of nothing else, and it definitely works for me. Putting them on makes you feel stronger, even if they're not actually doing very much. But that is it for the videos, guys. I hope you enjoyed. So as you see, I've noticed some things that I need to work on. If anybody else has noticed anything you think I need to work on my sumo deadlift, do feel free to leave it in the comments. And remember to like, subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.